Alright, let's go ahead and solve and graph this inequality. Now some of you guys are looking at this fraction and freaking out, okay? Don't worry about it. This one's actually set up so that by the time we distribute this fraction, we'll have gotten rid of the denominators anyways. And once we've solved this and checked it, we'll go ahead and graph it. Alright, so the first thing I am going to want to do anyways, even if I wanted to get rid of the denominators, is to distribute. Now I have two places I need to distribute, and it's important to remember that here it's like we're distributing a -2. So after distribution I have this -3 plus 4x minus 6 is less than or equal to 12 minus 16x plus 14 plus x. At this point we would want to combine like terms, so we'll combine the -3x plus 4x, we'll combine the -16x plus x, and the 12 plus 14. Let's see what we get. Alright, so we have now an x minus 6 is less than or equal to 26 minus 15x. And that all came from combining like terms. -3x plus 4x would give us a 1x, but we'll make that a phantom 1. And -16x plus 1x would give us a -15x. 12 plus 14 is 26. And remember, we don't have to change that inequality unless when we divide or multiply, we do it by a negative, or if the coefficient of the variable is a negative on the last step. So the next thing we need to do is determine which side do we want the x's on. Some of you know that you'd put it on the left, and that would make all the x's positive, which is not going to change the inequality. So let's go ahead and do that. I would go ahead and add 15x to both sides, and that creates a 0 right there, which essentially eliminates it. And so I have an x, and that's plus x. 1x plus 15x is 16x. And nothing else has changed. I still have minus 6, less than or equal to 26. And then I would add 6 to both sides. And now I have a 16x is less than or equal to 32. Notice, -6 plus 6 is a 0, so that canceled out. Now what we'll want to do is divide both sides by 16 and would find that x is less than or equal to 2. So once again, at this point I would want to check the coefficient of x, which here is a positive 16, so it's not going to affect the direction of the inequality. It's going to stay the same, which it did. And that would be our answer, but of course we would want to check this. Now I won't go through this whole process. You can find an example on the previous video, but if we replace x with 2 there, then we would find that both sides would equal a -4, and this is a key point because this is where they are equal, the two sides. So we would want to choose a value of x now based on our answer that would make this statement, we would say, true in this case. So if I did that, I would want to see that this side would be less than this side, okay? Now we've already checked the value that makes them equal, so again we're just looking for something less than. So I need a value of x specifically that's less than 2. And a very easy value to use for that would be 0. Now if I do that, again you can check the previous video for the exact work, but I'd do -3 times 0, which is 0, plus I'd have the 2/3. 6 times 0 is 0, minus 9. So this would simplify to 2/3 times -9, which would give us a -6. Well, is this less than or equal to, we'll check the other side, 12 minus 2 times 8 times 0 is 0, minus 7 plus 0. Well, this would give us a 12 minus what would be a -14, so I would add that together, and I would find that -6 is less than or equal to 26. Now again, this is just to check it off to make sure that our value of x is working here. We know where it's equal, and we check that. But when we find a value of x that's less than 2, like 0, we found the statement is still true. So, based on this original inequality, x is less than or equal to 2.